every day you learn so much that you didn't know.
That's why we travel. On the other side of complexity, there's simplicity.
It's a learning experience. We were traveling north of the Sahara Desert. We were in a beautiful place. I went to shower, and in the shower I fell. And I knew I fell badly because I couldn't move. So what happened was I broke my hip. I was in the bathroom shower for a long time. There was nothing wrong with the shower at all. It was really just an accident. They took me by ambulance to the closest nearby town in Achidia. I ended up, getting x-rays, and my hip was, broke, and it had to be replaced. So it was the scariest moment of my life. If you have internal bleeding, you can die from that. And I didn't have any option. So I had to have my hip replaced in a very small clinic.
Somewhere on the Sahara.
Yeah.
Somewhere near the Sahara. And this is the thing about trusting, because, and embracing. It was just like, embrace it, because you are lying on the floor and that's where you are. And at the hospital, they called in a surgeon who happened to be in the town. And he happened to be the best hip replacement surgeon in all of Morocco. He's recognized. So he came in, he explained to me, and he said, I can do this for you. And I really had no choice. So I decided to really fully trust him and to embrace the situation. And he replaced my hip.
What's the purpose of your travel?
That's a very deep question.
We are Jax and Amado, and we're in the Gambia. Actually, we're at Brufut Beach.
How did you get here?
We drove.
From where? Where have you been before?
We've been a lot of places before. We shipped this car from Los Angeles to Belgium. Picked her up in Belgium and then drove Europe, the Mediterranean, Straits of Gibraltar into Morocco on a ferry. And then we drove Morocco several times, and short story is we drove through Mauritania and Senegal and made it here. Well, we've been traveling forever. Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, obviously, China, around Mexico, mainland Mexico, the Baja, Canada, Alaska, US. Quite a few places.
The purpose is to see the world. That's what we try to do. We like to experience the different culture. We like to meet people. I think it's beyond that. Look around you. You're here in the beach. Here's our house. We wake up in the morning and we come here, and you have the ocean there. Then there's the fisherman who comes and go fishing, and I get my fish every morning. Those kinds of experience to me, are really that's why we travel. Those kind of experience are the experience we have wherever we go, even Alaska, Mexico. It's a connection, it's a connection. And we have this phrase that we like to embrace places. I think we travel in a way, what we kind of say, less is more. So we just don't travel to pass by things and see things. If we just need to pass by things, then we don't really go there. Like, we don't go to big cities, not because the big cities don't have anything to offer, but if you can't spend 6 months in a city, then you're really not gonna know it. You could say you've been there, but you traveled through there. So anyway, that's it's a very good question, and it will take me a while if I was gonna answer that thoroughly. Like, just before you got here, you met that artists. Those are the kind of people we kind of seek. This person, the reason I got interested in him is because there's a lot of people here that makes jewelry. This person goes up in the mountain and actually look for those seeds, and from that seed he creates something.
Yes. The more we see, the less we know. All over the world, growing our global community. We really love it.
It's hard to describe this. You travel. How would you describe this? And it's got its many challenges. It comes with the challenges. Keep up the maintenance of my rig because it's my home. It's part of it. You do all those things, but look what you get. The world is very super interesting, I think, in my opinion. The humanity, the complexity of the politics of a country, no matter how complex that is, that you hear on the news, that you might fear it. When you go to that country and you meet people, it's a different experience.
It's always different. Than,
It's a totally different experience. You know, when we were traveling Mexico, they said, "Oh, don't go there, it's dangerous." They put out this rope in front of you and they will ask for money. And yes, they did. But you know what we found out? It had a purpose. They're basically putting out this rope because you're traveling through their land and they're collecting toll. To me, it's like, and they explain this to you and then it makes sense. This doesn't mean that there are not, you know, bad people in the world. Let me just be clear about that. We have not had any experience with that. We've never been robbed.
Not one bad experience.
Well, not being robbed, being mugged, being broken in. We haven't had those kind of experience. But still, I will say, it's humanity. You have that other side. We're just grateful that we haven't had those kind of experience.
And the other side of our travel is we're growing our community, a global community for ourselves. And the way we're doing that is through music and culture, because we want to grow the community, because that's what our interests are. Mostly we focus on indigenous peoples who we would never have met. And these are traditional people who are fascinating, have beautiful stories to tell, beautiful music that we, were able to share with them, an incredible journey. Where we come from, we don't have access to these people. And a lot of them don't have access to the internet. So by traveling on our four wheels, we can meet them and understand and learn about their lives, learn about their music, learn about their culture.
When we travel, I guess because I play music, we just kind of gravitate to it. I would always record this music. What we discover as we travel, there are instruments and culture and music and culture that even some of our friends have not even heard some of this instrument. And we used to record this stuff. We bring it home and then our friends listen to it. And then at some point we just decided, because the problem with it was like we can't share it we can't make an album out of it. Because if we start making an album and selling it, there's the tax issue. You know what I mean?
Taxes.
It's just not that
things.
easy. It's not like you just record it and sure we can share it with friends, but if we want to share it broader than that, we have to formally start some kind of a corporation. So we have an independent record company called Nula Cruising, and we basically record. Our target artists are people that are very good. We make an album out of it, as you witnessed here the other day. We're recording a band right now, which I think is going to be fabulous. Dan Kula band. They really have no access to those things. They can't afford a studio, rent a studio, or any of those things. At least what would happen if we can get that out there, it gives them that platform, and we do some social media advertisement and all that stuff. Now, whether it succeeds or not, that's a whole another issue.
You basically travel around the world and you look for good local artists,
Yeah.
and you give them a platform.
Right.
And you make music with them, you record it, and then you publish it, and
Yeah.
it's how you discover new kinds of music and new artists and new worlds. Right?
Yeah. And we try to, and sometimes we don't look for them. They find us. That's how we do it. If it's one artist, yeah, we like to record in our band because it creates a whole different atmosphere. If there's a microphone, we record it inside. But if the person is playing instrument, we record right out here because it's plugged in. And you create this different track. You don't have to be in a studio. This is the other thing that we try to do. I'm glad that you asked that question, because part of the way that we're doing this is also the connection. It really deepens our travel. So one of the albums that we recorded in Essaouira, Morocco is Baba Diabate. And we record that in his house with the wife preparing dinner for us, the tea and all of that. It's all part of the experience. Music, if it's recorded in its environment, in my opinion, it has the different vibes. Like if you went to a studio, I'm not opposed to going to a studio. We've never recorded in a studio. In a way, I try to avoid it, that's all fixed and all of that, and you bring the artist there. I'm not against studio recording. I just want to be clear. I just don't think it has that vibe. When we were recording these guys here, I think you felt it. They're here, they're dancing, we're recording, they're all listening to the music. they're making a suggestion. It's all happening right here. It's the music, it's the connection, it deepens our travel. Tomorrow we just got invited. Tomorrow we're going into a village where there's a program. I know it's a cultural program. There'll be Mandingo drumming there because they insist that we come to that. It's going to be fabulous. We're going to be in a village, and that comes from the people that we meet.
Our first long distance travel was on an Indian motorcycle. Traveled all the way to Canada, around the Dakotas in the US, and that was fabulous. We had a little pup tent just for 2 people. Barely 2 people. And then gradually we began traveling, with the 4 wheels, and we got this in 2007. It was rusty. It didn't have a back. The back was a canvas. We were stopped by the police, and the police said, "Is this roadworthy? Is it capable of traveling on the highway?" We said it is. Look, we're driving it. It's roadworthy.
It's registered.
It's registered. 2007 till now is a very big difference. And Amado bought a welding machine and learned to weld on YouTube. This vehicle originally came from Australia. She was a cave hunting vehicle. Now she's a worldwide explorer.
What do you like most? Like the old times with the motorcycle and the little tent, or the present day with a 4-wheel drive truck?
I think I have to say today. I enjoyed the motorcycle, but when you're on the motorcycle, it's more to go. It's like part of the motorcycle experience is the road itself. And this is more the experience of staying. You have your own bed. You can take care of yourself. I like it.
To a
I like
point.
it. To a point, yes. It was a dual cab. 2 doors, dual cab. And it's the same function, basically. It has the 2 driver passenger seats. The structure we built this is the bed. Upstairs is a bed. It has 2nd floor. And then the back is the kitchen, bathroom, table, all the storage. Oh, you can... Here, come on in. So this is a multi-purpose room. This is the bed. Every morning we fold it up so we have living space. And then this is multi-purpose space area. The seats actually turn around, but we've stopped doing it because, we just use the seats here and this little table. This is the kitchen. It has running water. The motorcycle didn't have running water. It has, this is a Wallace boat stove. When we got this rig in 2007, we got this stove. It's a fabulous stove. It's a very old stove, but it doesn't give up. Storage space, all the drawers, storage space underneath. This is where our water filtration system is. It's all the water coming into Nula is filtered twice, so it's with an actual filter, and then it goes through a UV system. So everything we drink comes through the filtration system, and supposedly it's a guzzle H2O system, and you're supposed to be able to drop a line in the river and the water will be good to drink. We've never done that, but the water so far has been fabulous. So we shower with it, we cook with it, we drink it. And also this comes out, and this flops down into a bed. It comes
for
out,
visitors.
and this flops in, and then like that. Yeah. And then
If
this-
someone sleeps over, or but this is your main bed, right?
Yeah, this comes down.
Yeah.
This comes down. So this is a king size bed.
Yeah.
And it has extra roof space. So when we first got Nula, she could fit in a container, but she can't anymore because we raised her. She has 900 watts of solar on the top. Nula is solar powered and then also diesel powered. So she runs on both diesel and solar. And this is also a diesel stove.
Oh,
It runs
wow.
off of diesel gas. So everything we can run off of solar, we can run off of diesel. A lot of times we just connect to shore power, to whatever house we're connected to, and we can also go that way, but we don't really usually ever have to connect because we have so much solar going on. I designed this, actually. So this is my design.
Oh, you did this.
The box, the cabinets, the stove, I put in extra large windows so that we could actually see. So this is the bathroom. A sink, a shower. Right now we have 2 toilets, runs to the tank underneath, and then we have a combustible toilet by Trellino. And what happened is we've changed. We're changing over, because in the U.S. you can responsibly dump the waste into, a city dump or somewhere. But traveling in Africa, we were really concerned. So we got a compostable toilet, and I love it. It's really, go online, Trelino, and you can learn all about it. But it's the easiest way. It dehydrates everything. I'll spare you the details. But it's really, really convenient for traveling in communities which don't have waste treatment centers. This is our refrigerator. Yeah.
Cold drinks.
Yeah, so it's an ARB, very old refrigerator. Ta-da! This is a mosquito repellent light system. The mosquitoes do not come around when we have the red lights on. If we had an emergency or something, we wanted to get out, we couldn't use the doors, we could exit that way. That's an important feature.
You built this all by yourself, right?
We didn't build all of it ourselves. We had contractors. In the early years, 2007, probably all the way to the pandemic, we built it all. So a lot of people helped on the rig. This is a 1983 Toyota Landcruiser. If you saw the picture, probably no one would have bought it. We bought it. So maybe that's, we bought it from somebody who was in Flagstaff, Arizona, and it was rusted. But we bought it for the platform, and then we gradually started building it. So the platform was only, I think we paid something like $14,000 for it. We had the engine, platform, and some of the pieces you see. But other than that, by quality, so like the Wallace stove, we've had that. The ARB fridge, we've had that. So it depends on where you shop. So our first shopping was at a Toyota Landcruiser junkyard. So there's a place in Los Angeles that he just collects Landcruiser parts, and you can go there and pick up a part for basically nothing. We had a very small budget, so that's how we built. And then as we went along, we gathered more and more pieces so we could, keep elaborating. So it really didn't look like this. It did not look like this.
Induction stove. Just put them up there.
Yeah, sometimes it's just too hot to cook inside, right?
Yeah,
So-
we like cooking outside. I like cooking outside. It's a very simple engine, no computers,
No electric.
no electric, fuel pump is manual, everything is manual. I don't know if you know that, that's intercooler.
Amado welded that.
Oh, wow.
It's got this
He
stuff.
built it.
It's 1983. It's just, it's a tractor.
Did you have any breakdowns, major breakdowns?
Here's the thing. It always takes us to the next location, which to me is the essence of an overlanding vehicle, because something is going to go wrong. But this car, like she was telling you about the throttle cable, our throttle cable snapped, and I just ran a rope through the window, and I drove it from Mexico to Los Angeles with a rope. Those kinds of things.
There's always something you can do, not like with a new car when
Yeah,
it's just-
the axle broke, and we drove it from very far away all the way home, so it gets you home. Actually, I need to start. The one thing I learned about engines is that they need to breathe. This is the secret, I think. They need to breathe. The air needs to come in, and it needs to. So the air comes into that big air filter. It goes in here, goes into the intercooler, and then my exhaust is big, so it will come out. It will climb a mountain. It will really climb a mountain, especially when you put it on low gear. There's never been a mountain that we did not climb. Since it's got it's all junk here, but it's got lockers, ARB lockers, so all four wheels will lock if I need it. But here's the thing, I have never needed that. For all this time it's been here, but if I need it, I got that. It's got dual tank.
Big time handy. Once was in Mauritania, where we stopped at a gas station, filled up the gas, And what happened when we started to drive away, Amado?
I got like it's very contaminated fuel.
Ah.
And for this car to the engine started missing because the fuel's got to be really contaminated because it will run on cooking oil. You know what I mean? So what I did is I just switched to the other tank. There was a line in the gas station across the place, and we went to the gas station without a line.
With no line.
And this explains why the people were not going to that gas station. To me, that's important in an overlanding vehicle to have that redundancy. You know, when one thing breaks down, you got to be able to go to plan B, you know. Well, the water is like 140 liter, which I guess is a lot of water, you know. We shower in there, we do everything, but we can also take a shower outside.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, if we want to, you know.
Prepared for everything.
And it's got the Old Man Emu shock absorbers, you know, which really makes it ride really smooth.
Yeah.
The one that you adjust, double cylinder.
And then we put on this bike rack. We have a rad electric bike, and we carry it here because once we park, we really don't want to move Nula again. We just park her like here on the beach, and we use the bike to go to town.
Shopping, yeah.
Yeah, definitely for shopping. Living every moment fully. Living every single moment fully, then I consider myself to be blessed and happy. Every day's new day, but it's also an exciting day that, you know, as Amado said, we try to embrace wherever we are, whatever it is. And I think if you're stagnant, to me that is, it would make me really sad.
Even in the most challenging moment, like let's say bad moment, if you embrace it, you conquer it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you just like, you see a challenge and all you did was like, I don't know, complain about it. And I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do this. But if you really try to understand it and embrace it, there's a lot of good thing in that. And you're gonna find out that if you embrace it, you might learn something from that. And actually the challenge of embracing it is a thing in itself. You know, because if you reject it, it will give you a hard time. But if you embrace it, in my experience, in our experience, that's how we came up with this term. If we embrace it, you're gonna conquer it. You know what I mean? Like on the other side of complexity, there's simplicity. You go to this complex moment, like trying to go to Nigeria, trying to get a visa. When you conquer that and you get that visa, then there's the simplicity. Then you're just going there. It's just an example. To me, that's the way I kind of see life.
Move into the world, move into the global community, see the world, understand it, live it as much as you can. Because it is not the world you understand when you're at home.
Meet and get to know people that are different than you, intentionally. Like you need to go outside of that terrarium that that you live on.
Comfort zone.
The comfort zone. Go and meet people, seek out people that are different. You'd be surprised.
Our social media is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And all of the music is on the YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music. It would be wonderful to grow the global community if people could go on Nula Cruising at Nula Cruising Music and support these artists. Part of why I love doing the project is because people who are local people, indigenous people, who have fabulous music, unknown instruments to most of the world, can actually share that. So it's affirming, even if it's only 1,000 streams, they know somebody's listening to them in another continent, another place in the world, and that's pretty cool.